I'm Marco Gabriel, Philly local and real estate agent, and I have helped a lot of people to choose neighborhoods based on lifestyle and not just price. And nature access is definitely one of the biggest quality of life upgrades in Philly when you pick the right area. There's a lot of trails, parks, river paths, and spots that can feel a little bit like an escape, even though you're still in the city. So today, I want to give you some of my top neighborhoods in Philadelphia if you're a nature lover and you want to make sure that you don't lose that connection to nature by living in the city. So number one is Chestnut Hill and Mount Airy. These neighborhoods really feel removed from the city, and to a certain extent they are. You are not going to be in the center city hustle and bustle in these neighborhoods, although you are technically within the city limits. It will probably take you to get from these neighborhoods into center city a good 30 to 40 minutes depending on traffic. But again, you're living here for the feel of the neighborhood and the access to the nature. And honestly, this feels like Philly, but it feels like Philadelphia in the woods. You're right at the doorstep of Wissahickon Valley Park, one of Philly's biggest outdoor assets with major trail access. So when you drive through neighborhoods in Mount Airy and Chestnut Hill, a lot of these neighborhoods actually have trailheads right into Wissahickon in the neighborhood. So for nature lovers, I think this is probably the number one area that you can live in Philadelphia. It's quiet. There's more space. The lot sizes are a little bit larger than other parts of the city. And it's really an easy place in the city to build like a daily hiking or a weekly hiking routine into your schedule. But this is definitely an area for people who are nature first, not necessarily walkability into center city or hustle and bustle or nightlife or things like that. You do have Germantown Ave, which has some really great commercial on it, like restaurants and bars. But again, it's a small town feel. It's not a big city feel in these areas. So number two, hopping to the other side of Wissahickon Park is Roxborough and Manayunk. So this gives you the Wissahickon access without the Chestnut Hill pricing. So Chestnut Hill, extremely pricey, one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the city of Philadelphia. Mount Airy is close behind depending on the area. It is less expensive than Chestnut Hill, but it can still get pretty pricey. Manayunk and Roxborough definitely have a much higher affordability factor, so you can get into these neighborhoods for pretty reasonable entry prices, as low as $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, depending on the size of the house, the condition, and things like that. Manayunk and Roxborough also share in common with Chestnut Hill and Mount Airy that you do sometimes get larger lot sizes in these areas. So it's much more common to find properties that have at least some backyard space, probably not a backyard in the same definition as you would consider the suburbs, but it is an outdoor space behind your house where your dog can run. You might be able to have a fire pit or a hot tub or something like that. So Manayunk and Roxborough definitely give you that, but they also give you the value. I will say the streets of Manayunk and Roxborough are not as lush with trees and really like tree lined, and I think the Chestnut Hill, Mount Airy area feels a little bit more historical and quaint, but Manayunk and Roxborough are definitely a great alternative for people who are a little bit more price conscious, but still want to have direct access to Wissahickon just north of the neighborhood. So next, just south of Manayunk, you're going to have East Falls and also Wissahickon, which is really just a part of Manayunk at this point, but kind of has its own identity. And obviously, being that the neighborhood name is Wissahickon, great access to the park. East Falls, you also are in an area where you have not only access to Wissahickon Park, but also the river trails. And so East Falls is definitely a sleeper pick because it sits near the river. It has easy access to the Schuylkill River Trail. It's pretty quiet, residential, convenient. It does have a pretty decent commercial strip as well with some good restaurants and bars. Really great if you like running, walking, biking. Again, that trail being there right on the river, you can bike right into Center City, Fairmount Art Museum area, or you can bike north into Manayunk. And again, like if you want nature to be a part of your daily routine and still have a need for city convenience, East Falls is a little bit closer to Center City, which is great. So you're not going to have to necessarily fight as much traffic as you would in Roxborough or Chestnut Hill to get into the city. You can just really take Kelly Drive right down into Center City and basically be spit out into the city right near the art museum. And it's a little bit more accessible to the main areas of Center City than the other neighborhoods I mentioned. Number 4 on my list is Fitler Square. And so this is definitely different than the neighborhoods that I just mentioned. This is a neighborhood that is right in Center City. This is city living with the river trail lifestyle and the ability to access the Schuylkill River anytime that you want. So if you want to really be in the city, but still have that quainter neighborhood feel, a quieter residential feel, some tree-lined streets, historical homes, and also access to the Schuylkill, this is a great area to look. I will say, because it is one of the more nature-forward, quieter neighborhoods in Center City, it does become more expensive than a lot of other neighborhoods. Fitler Square is one of the more expensive neighborhoods in the city for that reason. But if you have the budget for it and you really want the best of both worlds and you want to be able to walk your dog along the river and you want to have access to the park and the basketball courts, there's awesome dog parks right over there, but also be able to walk right into Rittenhouse and dine at some of the best restaurants and go out to some of the best nightlife in the city, Fitler Square is an awesome option. And so last but not least is the Cedar Park, Spruce Hill area. I definitely could not leave West Philly out of the conversation because West Philly does have some areas that are really beautiful. They have big trees. It's like really a park culture. West Philly has a strong park-centered lifestyle. You have Clark Park, which is a really nice green space in that area. And the nice thing is, if you go just north of Clark Park, you do have a great commercial strip with a lot of bars and restaurants as well. So this neighborhood, again, you are really close to a lot of things. You obviously are very close to the University City area. So if you're working at the universities or attending the universities, and you like nature and you want to live nearby, this is a great place. But you can also hop right over the Schuylkill and be in Center City pretty easily. You can bike there, you can take an Uber there, you can drive there. But West Philly in these areas specifically, it's beautiful. There's a lot of historical homes. You can be out on your front porch. You can enjoy these humongous trees that are hundreds of years old. And I think it's another great neighborhood to look if you really value nature. So that's it for my top neighborhoods for nature. There are some other ones out there. So if you are thinking about moving to Philly, definitely give me a shout, shoot me an email, a text, and I can walk you through some different options that are going to fit with your lifestyle. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you next time.